You should be able to close out ball games. You had 57 games to figure this stuff out. MU Doka, just don't use timeouts for strategic situations, but to actually calm this team down when teams are actually starting to make a run and you see your team is falling apart. It's happening too many times. We're at the bottom of the schedule now. And I hate to say it. And if I was a betting man, the Rockets will not be getting in this play-in tournament. The task is too huge. Games like this you can't drop. You will play them again, along with the Phoenix Suns, who you just beat, playing them twice. The boats are tightened up. And if the Rockets cannot go on a long winning streak, at least 5-game winning streak, they're not going to have any hopes for the play-in. Not only that they have to go on a winning streak, but they got to hope the bottom teams that they're going up against, battling for that 10th slot, fall apart and drop some games. As far as Utah, Lakers, Golden State, those 3 teams there you're chasing. You need them to drop games. The Rockets cannot afford, once again, to win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They can't make up that ground to get in the 10th slot. It's impossible. They have to string together some games in a row to give themselves a chance, and I just don't see it. The team is too inexperienced. I know we don't want to use that, but it's the facts. They are working hard. But my problem is when you have leads late, you have to hold the leads. And that's where the timeouts come in. MU Doka. This team has dropped so many games coming down the stretch after leading by 20, leading by 16, or at least up 1, up 2 in the fourth quarter. We have to use those timeouts strategically. Sit them down. Wake them up in the moment. Because I'm speaking from experience. I know how it is when you're on that floor and things are starting to happen. You're falling apart. Teams is making a run. When you're out there on the floor, you really can't relish and really know what's happening at that moment. You're thinking, well, I can battle, I can get myself out of it. But you're going through the emotions. You don't really know what's going on. Sometimes you don't even see the transition happening where a team is starting to make their run on you. And the avalanche is coming down on you. And the next thing you know, you're in a rut. You can't find your way out. This is a perfect time to sit this team down on a timeout. As soon as you see a run happening or you see your team is playing out of character, turning over the ball, not running their offense, dropping their head, low energy, perfect time to call a timeout. Sit these guys down and say, hey guys, wake up. What are we doing? Do you know where we're at in the standings? Do you know where we're at in the standings? If we want a play-in, we have to buckle up right now. This team is making a run. Dig deeper. Take care of the ball. Control the clock. Let's get good shots. Buckle down on defense. This game is getting away from us. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? Show me that you want it. Let's wake up now. Let's wake up now. Week after week, we have these leads and these teams are coming back on us. Let's go. Wake up. Sometimes it takes that. Now, will it help majority of the time? Maybe so, maybe not. But it gives your team a wake-up call and let them know, do you want this game? You got to go out there and get it right now. Team is making a run. We're not running our stuff. We're turning over the ball. We're doing what we've been doing most of the season. We have to get these games in the bag. Let's go. Sometimes it just takes just that. But MU Doka, he's doing a great job, no doubt about that. Sometimes you got to dig a little deeper in your team. You got to reach some souls sometimes. Let them understand what this moment is. Quit being lackadaisical, going through the motions. It's about capturing this win, buckling down. Because I'm telling you right now, this little stretch they got right now, playing Oklahoma City Thunder again, and then the Phoenix Suns twice, and I think you got San Antonio up in there somewhere, and then I think you got to play the Clippers. Because if you don't watch it, San Antonio might be the only game you win on this little stretch starting tomorrow.
Oh, that's not good.
Against OKC, who just got you. But Phoenix Suns was a good win, good quality win against a great team. And the one from last night, you'd have grabbed that one. That's 2 in a row against 2 quality ball clubs. It was right there in the bag, and you let it get away. Just bad execution, lack on defense, going through little scoring droughts. This team goes through a lot of scoring droughts, a lot of them. And that's when a timeout needs to happen. And like I said, timeouts are just not made for strategic situations. It's to wake the team up. What are we doing? You trying to do the same thing we done last game or last week? I thought we learned from that. Wake up, or we will be going home early. No play-in. We'll be leaving early. And that's the only way this team's going to have a successful year in my book, is getting into the play-in. Yeah, you can say, well, we won more games than last year. Yeah, that's small fry stuff right there. That's small fry. And this team wants to get in the playoffs. And I know Emu Doka wants them to get in the playoffs, but you got to fight a little harder. You got to pay more attention. Houston plays, whether they don't play the whole game or not, but before it's over with, they're battling. They go through their little lows like every team does. They go high, then they go low, then they go back high again. But the thing is, when you have double-digit leads in the second half, man, you got to try to seal those deals. I know this is a game of runs. I know that. But you know that as well. So what you do? Slow the ball down a little bit. Get it to your guys in their spots. Don't turn over the ball. Make your free throws. Lock down people. Play defense. Be scrappy. You can fall into a lot of wins just playing that way. But every time a team starts surging, this team gets uptight. They get uptight. And I know, yeah, they're young. We can say that 100 million times before. But sooner or later, you can't use that young excuse. You done played enough games now, 57 games. Can't keep using it young. You know how to play basketball. You know these teams that you're playing. You know the teams you're supposed to win. And the ones you can surprise. Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday was a surprise, and you should have got that one. Tough loss. Before we get into this summary article, we're going to look at a highlight. Chet Holmgren with a block. SGA going down at the other end for a layup before we get into it. But yes, Rockets dropped one they should have had. But like I say, this team is learning on the fly. But you just have to continuously grow up each game. You can't make the same mistakes. It's hurting this team bad. And in my opinion, they're going to come up short in the play-in tournament. Nobody wants them to make the play-in tournament better than me. Really want this team to get into some meaningful games for this season. But the way this team is playing up and down right now, inconsistent, that's a long shot. Too much ground to make up, and the teams that are at the bottom with you, they're playing better at this moment. They're starting to go on their streaks and on their stride. They're waking up. This is the second half of the season. So these teams that you're playing, even though they're below 500, you're going to get their best. And all the great teams with a better record, they don't want you coming up knocking them off. They're on a mission. They're trying to position themselves. It's championship time. You think they want you to waltz up there under 500, surprising them? Oh, no. They're going to try to put their foot in your neck. That's why when you have them down and you're playing well, you got to make sure you hold on to that. Because if they sense anything, or you don't know what you're doing, or you're going through these lows where you can't score in 3 minutes, defense breaks down and it stays that way for a long stretch, you're turning over the ball, they can smell that. They know you're a young team. They know you're trying to come up. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to keep you down where you belong in their minds. Because they got goals higher than yours. They're trying to get deep into the playoffs and win a championship. They ain't thinking play in. So you have to seal these games that you know you have down the stretch. And like I say, that's when the timeouts come in for Emu Doka, waking his team up. Nothing strategic, but just to look these guys in the eye and say, let's go. What are we doing? What are we running? Take care of the ball. Lock down on defense. This is the moment right now that we always lose it. Let's get it back right now. And Emu Doka could be doing that. I don't know. I'm not in the huddles. But what I'm looking at is the body language coming out of these timeouts. And you see the same old thing over and over. So I don't know. But let's get into this highlight.
Rockets have sent a lot of high ball screens out in front. Thompson can get up there. He is athletic, and Shea takes a little bump and into the front court. That's the foul. And that's a good play. Has he had at the rim, folks? Where clearly a guy's going to dunk the basketball or score. End result is this right here, Parker.
When we saw that.
What can you do with them? SGA and Chet Holmgren, two of the best in the league right now at what they do. It's tough to deal with them. And like I say, guys like that, they can be down majority of the game. Fourth quarter or late third quarter, they're going to start picking it up. And you know that when you go into halftime. Any kind of all-star player, superstar player, or a player that has high expectations, if they're not playing that well in the first half, or they're slumping, they're missing shots, they don't have that many points, you rest assured, second half, they come in guns blazing, and you should be expecting that. And the problem that I have right now with all the coaches in the NBA, with superstar players, they just let them do what they do. There's a lack of double teaming on superstars in this league, and it drives me crazy. They're willing to lose games off a guy going one-on-one with their so-called best defender on the team. It doesn't matter. Great players are going to find a way regardless of the defense. Yeah, you can have lockdown guys, but you still bring other people over to get him off the ball, to get him to turn it over, to make it a tougher shot, just to press him a little bit. Time and time again, we allow superstar players be greater than they actually are, to be honest with you. Yeah, they're great players, but you put them way up here for no reason. I know what they can do. Let a role player beat you. How many times we have to cover this over and over again? I'd rather lose by a role player hitting a wide open three, taking it off the dribble. We know what superstar players can do in this league. Same thing with Chet Holmgren and SGA last night. There's not enough bodies around these guys. We know what they can do. It's just very frustrating, man. I can sleep well at night knowing I lost a game off a three-point barrage all night. I'd rather lose a game on threes falling from all over the place before I let a superstar dribbling down the lane, fadeaways, getting my guys in foul trouble, getting to the free throw line, hitting clutch shots down the stretch. I don't want to see that. I know he can do that. That's why he get paid the big bucks. Why do we have to see that over and over again? Coaches need to get rid of their pride, man, and say, look, we're double teaming this guy. If you're not going to do it the whole game, I understand not doing it the whole game, but that fourth quarter with 6 minutes left, oh yeah, it's a must every time. And if you haven't worked on it, you need to work on it. Because you got to have your rotations down. People got to know where they're going, where they're switching to, and you got to cover for one another when you're double teaming like that. But if you're not running that stuff and prepared, that's a whole nother different situation, because you should be. Players are too great in this league. Kevin Durant, how many times he going one-on-one with some guy with no double team? And when they do double team, it's one of these shallow double teams where they just running a guy over there, then flashing back. No, man, harassing. But that's my double team rant. But it drives me crazy. Game after game I watch, even if it's not the Rockets or whoever, they just don't double team these superstars. Make it hard for them. I don't want them winning the game. And you shouldn't either. So correct that, swallow your pride, give your team a chance to win. Force somebody else, a role player, to beat you. It's simple, man. It's real simple.